It's the amazing Rico Brogna podcast with your host, Evan Roberts.
Well, it's not Evan Roberts. It is filling in as Evan has decided to leave the country. That's right. The Mets are on a 3-game winning streak, and now Evan has decided to take a little break from. Listen, let's be serious. He'll be back Sunday during the game recap. He's just in travel right now. I don't even know if the Mets won. I have no idea if he knows if the Mets won. Either way, I am here at Citi Field right now after an amazing 6-5 win over the New York Yankees. And let's be honest, it was a tight one. It was not a good start. And it all came with the first at bat. Jason Dominguez took a ball deep, and the Yankees are up 1-0 off of Hangman, guy that's not going to be here too much longer. And then Aaron Judge follows suit and does the same thing, and it's 2-0. And as a Met fan, if you're watching this, you are scratching your head going, this is going to be a long day. This is not how I set up my 4th of July. This was not the plan of action for this game. Let's be serious. But the Mets bounced back right away. And that was great to see. You see Juan Soto hit a 2-run home run, and things are kind of, back in the good graces. They make it 3-3. It's just, Bellinger with the home run. It goes back and forth. It was just a sloppy game. But you take the game. You take the win. You survived a game with really not a non-major league starting pitcher. You handed the ball off to a couple of bullpen guys that you've been questioning recently if they could even stay in the league and they should be on this team. You look at the going to Brazaban a little bit later on, but you go to Austin Warren, right? Is it Austin Warren? It is Warren, that's for sure. Yeah, Austin Warren, who was not good either. He had a rough outing. So you go from Hangman to Warren combined. They gave up 5 runs. They gave up all the runs. And neither of them are really solid major league pitchers. They just had to fill this game. They had to get this game in. They needed arms. So they put the next guy up in mind. The next guy up and threw him in there. But Brazaban comes in the 7th inning, gets, thankfully get out of the inning, did give him a walk, but got out of the inning. And then Reed Garrett, the guy who we've been crushing as of late, the guy that we moved out of the circle of trust. And there's really no circle of trust. Like, this is the thing that we keep going back to is, who's in the circle of trust? It's Edwin Diaz at the moment and kind of everybody else. We just threw Ryan Stanek in there out of nowhere. 2 weeks ago, we were ready to cut Ryan Stanek. Reed Garrett was the next guy in line behind Edwin Diaz. But now he's kind of gone too. But he today, in a game where you didn't have Stanek, didn't have Edwin Diaz, you go to Reed Garrett for 6 outs, and they get it. They figure it out. So listen, you got to tip the cap to Reed Garrett. He goes to only 1 strikeout, but also only gives up 1 hit. So that was enough. And listen, let me just say something for anybody that's listening going, well, you don't sound like Evan Roberts and whatever. It's still a real Rico. I'm still throwing it down. I'm still doing, I hope I'm doing, giving my best here, filling in for Evan Roberts. But get used to it for the next 2 weeks. For the most part, if we're doing instant reactions, it's going to be moi giving you the instant reaction as Evan's in Europe. So he will be watching games. You will see him from time to time on your YouTube, on listening to the podcast. You will see him or hear him. But for some of these instant reactions like the one today, I wanted to give you this because it's a 4th of July special. It is a big deal that the Mets take not only game 1 of this series, but now they're on a 3-game winning streak. And it doesn't make a difference how I'm squirming in the chair. People are requesting me squirm in the chair. But it doesn't make a difference how you win as long as you win. And that's the big thing. It was a good crowd. And I'll tell you this much, too. I was at both Friday games of the Subway Series. There were a ton of Yankee fans here at Citi Field. The same way there was a ton of Mets fans at Yankee Stadium for at least the first game that I was at. Anyone that says that Juan Soto doesn't bother them anymore and they've moved on, well, let's put it this way. That's not the case, because the boos that Juan Soto got from the Yankee fans that were in attendance, they were loud enough to hear. I was near a lot of Yankee fans, so it still is an effect. That's for sure. That the Juan Soto effect has taken place and has still has hit home for a lot of Yankee fans that they miss him. Guy went a triple away from a cycle today, which, by the way, he probably should have had that double that was drilled in right center. If he was hustling out of the gates, I think he probably could have made that into a triple. I think Pete Crow Armstrong, Corbin Carrolls of the world, the speedsters of the world definitely would have had that as a triple, that's for sure. But I think Soto probably could have laid that out too. Would he have hit another double? That's whatever. Either way, it doesn't make a difference. The Mets won, and that's all that matters. There were some boneheaded plays which continue to hurt on both sides. Listen, the Yankees you look at the Yankees and you think, listen, the hit that Pete Alonso got that basically Volpe put his body in front of and it deflected and went up in the air and Soto scored on. They called it a hit. I think that's a hit. It was a hard shot that Volpe tried to get in front of. Most people probably will let that just go through. Like, hey, I'm not going to stop it, so what's the big deal anyway? But Volpe tried. The biggest blunder by the Mets all day, though, was Ronnie Mauricio. That was killer. So Ronnie Mauricio's on first base. Well, actually, maybe there's two blunders because I looked at, if you go back a little further, actually, Brett Beatty prior to that, when Ronnie Mauricio was up and hits into a double play, and Beatty makes this attempt like either he thought the first baseman had touched first base or had caught the ball on a fly after Ronnie Mauricio hit it, and Beatty, rather than finish going to second base, turns back around and all of a sudden slides into first base like he's making a smart heads-up play. And it was a ground ball double play. And Paul Goldschmidt did what you're supposed to do if you're first baseman, turns, fires to second base, easy peasy double play. And, Beatty basically gave himself up. I'm not sure if that's as bad as Ronnie Mauricio, who a ball gets hit to Jazz Chisholm. I think it's a Taylor hit. It was either Taylor or Nimmo. Let me double check the stupidity here, because it was very frustrating at the end of the inning, and it was that could have been the game right there too. But it was Brendan Nimmo hits the ball. Jazz Chisholm makes a good play, gets to the ball, throws to second base, but LeMahieu comes off the base and Mauricio slides in and is safe. And I thought it looked like originally that maybe LeMahieu deked him out. And I'm like, okay. Good for LeMahieu. He deked out Mauricio. Mauricio comes off the bag, looks like he's going to third base, and he gets tagged out, and that's the end of the inning. But Jazz, or it wasn't Jazz, it was Mauricio. He just looked back, thought the ball was behind him, and got up and ran, and totally gave himself up. And between that and the Beatty play, like, what are we doing on the base paths? I'm never gonna give anybody a pass for dumb base path running, but for dumb base running on the base paths. But I think the Mauricio one is stupider. But I'm gonna also say that what is Brett Beatty doing? Like, what are we thinking? We want a heads up play, but do you really know what you were doing out there? Do you know why you were going back to first base? Did anybody talk to you? I hope so, because that was gross base running on Brett Beatty's end too. And I know we're going to sit there and a lot of people are going to kill me and crush me that I'm criticizing Brett Beatty. He went 2 for 4. It's amazing. Brett Beatty can go hitless for days, weeks, and nobody talks about it. But then all of a sudden he gets he goes 2 for 4 and everyone's like, oh, he's back. Brett Beatty's back. He's got potential. Well, listen, all these young kids have potential. whether it's Mauricio, whether it's Vientos, whether it's Alvarez, whether it's Luis Angel Acuna, they all have potential. Brett Baty shows that, yes, at times he could go yard with the best of them. At times he could find a way to place the ball down the left field line, go opposite field, which was perfect. That's how he got his first hit, went down the field, opposite line. Jazz wasn't there, and he gets a double out of it. It's like, that's what I remember when Brett Baty was up last year, when before Mark Vientos was given the job, Brett Baty was trying to figure out how to spread the ball around the field. He wasn't going deep. He was just trying to get base hits. And a lot of times it was just go oppo. Take the ball, take it where they give it to you, and just go with it. And that was good hitting. Now, what was really good hitting too was putting the ball in right field and hitting a home run. You take that every day. But again, cuts the lead to 5-4. Mets are back in it again too, which was very nice. You're dealing with a very depleted Yankees pitching staff. Marcus Stroman did the same thing as not as bad, but did a very similar thing that Frankie Montas did. After Frankie Montas had his, game opener or season opener where he goes 5 shutout innings, he goes and has a really rough outing. Well, Marcus Stroman did something kind of similar too, and he goes out there and not as bad, but I think was it 5 innings? Did he finally pitch 5 innings? Yeah, it was 5 innings, 3 runs, 7 hits, 1 walk, 4 Ks. But allowed the Mets to get back in this game after Hengeman's basically giving the game away in the first inning. Stroman gives it right back. So thankfully, the Mets are dealing with a depleted Yankee pitching staff. Guys like, Ian Hamilton, who can't keep the ball in the ballpark. Tim Hill pitched rather well. Luke Weaver has been struggling, man. I mean, that was the guy that everyone was talking about. The Mets, the Yankees don't even need Devin Williams anymore. You got Luke Weaver. That's the closer. He, since coming back from the IL, has been terrible. If you look at his numbers, I don't know, we don't want to really care about Luke Weaver, but just to show you how bad he's been as of late, his last 3 games, he's given up a total of 6 earned runs, 7 in total. He's only pitched a total of 1 2/3 innings. He has been absolute, utter dog crap. So I'm not sure what's going on with Luke Weaver, but you take it. And Jeff McNeil did. He took it for a 2-run home run, which gives you the game winner. And Jeff, think about this. A lot of times I'm seeing Jeff McNeil still do the same thing, whether he's golfing, out there and just, trying to get bat on ball, which is good, but a lot of times grounding into double plays, not getting really strong hits, nothing that's effective. However, all of a sudden, he has a 2-run home run off of Luke Weaver. And then defensively, which is one of the biggest things here with Jeff McNeil that has always killed me, especially with Luis Angel Acuna being around with his team prior to Jeff getting healthy and coming back. Luis Angel was making crazy defensive plays. Jeff McNeil made an amazing play in the 9th inning that could have set up, extra innings here. Let's be serious. And Jeff McNeil was able to get to the ball. He was able to. It was DJ LeMahieu who hit it to Jeff and got made a nice, beautiful play, beautiful stab. Got out there. I think it actually hit the grass. That's how far out he was. But got out there, was able to get LeMahieu out, and then Jason Dominguez, he grounds out as well. Obviously, where's it go to? Jeff McNeil. And Aaron Judge is waiting there to go and tie this ball game, but he never gets a chance. And that's been, if you've watched the Yankees at all, that's been their bugaboo. They keep on getting Aaron Judge on deck to tie the game or to get a big opportunity, but they get out before he gets up. And that's a key right here. That's going to be a key to the series is how do you pitch either around Aaron Judge or pitch around the team so you don't have to face him. Again, he goes 2 for 4. Aaron Judge, best hitter in baseball. If you ever listen to me on WFN Daily, if you ever listen to me when I do my overnight shifts on Saturday morning, which I'm going to do tonight, midnight to 5, if you're watching live right now. But Aaron Judge batting 365. He went 2 for 4 again, another home run. He did strike out twice, which was, that's not usually his thing, especially with the guys that were pitching for the Mets. I was not expecting, whether it was Brazaban or Garrett or whomever it was that struck him out. I was not expecting that. But it's nice to see. But he still went 2 for 4 in the other two at bats, and that's what he does. He doesn't see a lot of pitches. He's getting impatient at times. When he's patient, he's walking. But when he's getting impatient, you see him striking out more. Today was a day where he wanted to do more because the crowd was so ridiculous. The crowd was fun. It was very interactive. There was a lot of boos, and yet somehow, he goes 2 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. But for the Yankees, it was really just the first 5 hitters. It wasn't not including Giancarlo Stanton because he did nothing. But between Jazz, who went 2 for 4, Cody Bellinger went 1 for 4, had that home run, and Dominguez, who went 2 for 4 with 2 home runs. I mean, that was the offense. 4 home runs, pretty much. And then the Mets, they had 3 themselves. So total of 7 home runs on this 4th of July Rico Brogna as the Mets win 6-5. And it wasn't I wouldn't say it was an all-time great game, but it was definitely a nail-biter. There was a lull at in the 5th, 6th, 7th inning type of thing. It was a little bit of a lull, but early on with the fireworks being set off with all the home runs, and then obviously the end of the game with Jeff McNeil getting the game-winning home run, and then Reed Garrett going out there doing the job, getting 6 outs, which was awesome. That being said, I appreciate you guys checking out Rico Brogna. The next time I do one will probably be tomorrow after this game 2 of this part 2 Subway Series. I'm curious if there will be a part 3. Part 3 in 2025, that would be the World Series. So are these teams good enough to get deep into the playoffs and face each other in the World Series? Right now, it doesn't feel that way. They both have very similar situations, whether it's the bullpen being really bad, whether it's the starting pitching not giving them enough length, and their hitting being very sporadic. When they hit home runs. When they're not hitting home runs, they're not hitting. It's not a way to go about it, that's for sure. Mets now are a half game out of the NL East lead behind the Phillies, and they're inching closer. Can they sweep? That would be nice. Can you win 2 out of 3? That would be nice too. Go win the series. That's what we always say. Just go win the series. So they get the first game in, 6-5. It's the final score. Again, early lead, start of the series, and I'm saying it right now, Jeff McNeil. Right? I mean, it's got to be him. That big 2-run shot, defensive plays. You could say Juan Soto. Juan Soto, he hit a very big 2-run home run. I was hoping that maybe we saw something else from Juan Soto. Maybe we saw like another big home run from him because I really want Juan Soto to have his Mets moment. He has not had it yet. He continues to improve. He's got 21 home runs in the season now. It's great. Pete Alonso's got 68 RBIs in the season right now. He's been stuck at 18 home runs. Like, let's pick this up a little bit. Let's get more offense going on. And Lindor's in a little bit of a rut. But again, it seems like his toe's affecting him. So regardless, good first game in the series. Be back tomorrow after the second game of Subway Series Part 2 between the Mets and the Yankees. And then Sunday, hopefully, Evan Roberts will join us for a series recap. So thank you so much for taking the time on your 4th of July to check out the Rico Brogna. Hope you go out there. The sun's still out right now as I'm recording this. It's going down in a couple hours, and hopefully you can enjoy the fireworks wherever you were, and hopefully enjoy the fireworks at Citi Field because there were 7 home runs, 3 of them by the Mets, which turned into a 6-5 victory over the New York Yankees. We'll see you tomorrow. All right. Until then, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you don't forget, please try not to. If you listen to this live, you're listening to this on Friday night, Saturday morning. That's in a few hours, in like 5.5 hours from right now where we're recording this. I'm going to be hitting the airwaves at midnight, Saturday morning, up until 5 a.m. So If you need more Pete Hoffman, please feel free. Give me a call, 888-808-1019. I'm not there yet because this is live, but if you're listening to it like after midnight, I'm on air. But go check that out on WFAN and the Odyssey app. Thank you again for listening to another fantastic episode of Rico Brogna.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Rico Brogna podcast. It's amazing, isn't it? Make sure you download it now to keep it on you at all times.